no pressure at all, right? But welcome, podcast number 2.
Yes.
We think that we've got the technology sorted out.
It looks very colourful, doesn't it?
It does look pretty, doesn't it?
Like a spaceship.
Pretty. So obviously episode 2, we've got Ben Hudson Fitness with us, so you can find him on Instagram. And Ben has been through if I say a little bit, it's a little bit of an understatement, isn't it?
Unbelievable journey.
Bit of a journey,
Huge transformation to a point now where you're now coaching, you're now helping other people who have been where you've been.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, and it's just like it's nice to see someone who's dragged themselves from the depths. No disrespect, but you've got yourself to where you are now, and it's authentic. People can look at that and relate to it, and it's a really unique selling point. A lot of people haven't been to where you've been and pulled it around. So introduce yourself a little bit, Ben, and I want to know the motivator. I want to know what made you one day think, right, I need to sort myself out.
Okay, so first of all, I'm Ben Hudson. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
So yeah, my journey is been going on, I would say, well, the significant date in it all was March 6, 2018. But before that, I kind of knew that I wanted to change because I'd gone from in school, I suppose if we take it all the way back, and we go like in school, I was always fit, I was always healthy, I was playing football, I was playing rugby, skateboarding, riding bikes, all sorts. And I left school, I was a little bit chubby after I broke my leg. So I'd had like 5 months in a pot. Left school, lost a lot of weight, went in college, still relatively slim. And then I met somebody in 2009, I think it was. Gained a lot of weight through this relationship. And
As you do.
Yeah.
As you do, get comfortable. We've all been there.
Comfy life, brother.
It was a very easy excuse to just sort of say, right, yeah, you know, I've got nobody to impress now, sort of thing. And I didn't realise just how bad things had got until maybe it's like 2015. So I was going to like weddings and stuff like that, and I remember this time I went into Matalan, of all places, right, to get a shirt and some trousers. And I remember trying these shirts on, and I was thinking, why aren't I a medium anymore?
Yeah,
it's a little bit of an eye up. Like,
right.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And I thought, right, I'll try the large. Right, okay, why aren't I a large anymore? And actually, the shirt, I've still got the shirt, and you might see it on my socials where I'm in like a blue shirt, some grey trousers.
I thought you were in the RF, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I look like an Arriva Bus Driver. but that shirt and trousers was what I'm talking about, right? That shirt was double XL. The trousers, a 44 waist. And I remember trying it on, I was thinking, like, this is not good. And
what are you now for comparison?
So, well, I was... Waist-wise, I'm 30, 32. Massive. And I'm down to like XS, sorry.
Right.
I was XS like on shoot prep, but
right,
relatively now I'm just like a small or medium if I want to go oversized.
Yeah.
But like, my oversize used to be triple XL.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I used to struggle to get into double XL. So it's just, I used to shop in Giacomo, mate.
Right. Oh, up the Giacomo, mate.
Giacomo, mate.
So I can remember, so I'm hearing you, right? So you go through life and, you know, Sarah and I got together, we had the kids and stuff like that. And I just piled the weight on, and there was no, you don't get any kind of visuals. You obviously do, you look in the mirror, but you don't, you just think that you're the same as what you were before. But those key points around, go find some jeans, right? And all of a sudden, you've outgrown all of the regular department stores, and then you're in the Fat Club in Giacomo. And I always remember when I posted something on Facebook, I was like, right, I'm now out of Giacomo, but what do people do who've got calves? Where'd you go, right? Because you're wearing skinny jeans, right? But you've obviously got a bit of calf about you.
I felt every word of that, mate, because I've experienced that. Mate, because I remember... I mean, I've still got relatively all right calves now, to be honest.
You have got good set of pins, pal, I'll give you that.
But going from Giacomo, I was like, where do I shop now? And boom and all that. But yeah, I mean, going back to what you asked me, that was one of the moments I was like, right, I need to now lose weight. So then I started.
So you mentioned the date, key date, 6th of March.
Yeah,
What happened there?
So this is what happened. So I'd gone on the journey so far. I'd lost a couple of stone. I'd gone from 20 stone 10 to 18, 12. And I'd had this is going a very long story short. So I'd gone through like a severe depression.
Right.
I'd gone through like a really dark moment.
Yeah.
In December 17. And this particular moment, I was like dark, like severely dark. And I was like, right, that needs to change. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be thinking that way. I shouldn't be planning stuff, and you know what I mean. So I went to doctors. I said, right, look, I need some help.
Yeah.
I need to either speak to somebody or I need something. And then gone through some tests, and I had to wait. I think it was about 6 to 8 weeks for those tests to come back.
Yeah.
And I went to the doctors on the March 6th, 2018, and these tests come back. And I went in. I remember going in the room. And sorry.
No, you're right. Take your time, bud.
It gets me every time, man. I went in the room, and the doctor basically said, like, this is like normal.
Yeah.
But this is you. You're up here, and this is normal or whatever. And it was essentially blood pressure, cholesterol. I was like close to being diabetic. I was
type 2,
my heart was enlarging. Like I had severe sleep apnea. All these sorts of things were just kicking off. But he had everything in front, and he just went like, "There you go," sort of thing. Like threw them. I remember throwing them across the desk at me, and I was thinking, "Fuck!" Like I felt like I was in trouble.
Do
you know what I mean? Like, well, I was in trouble, but I mean,
your schoolboy.
I felt like I was getting told off by someone. And after like a big conversation with him, he was like, "You've got 6 months, and then I don't even know if you're going to be here or not."
Do you think that approach was the best approach?
Yeah.
Do you think that he needed to scare you a little bit?
Absolutely, mate. And I can't thank him enough. I can't even remember his name. I wish I did. Yeah. But that day when he told me that, I was like, right, fuck this.
Yeah.
Fuck this. And I literally, and I've said this before on other casts and stuff, and every time I talk about this story, and people don't believe me, but I did. I left that doctor's that day, and I drove to Teesside Park.
Yeah.
To Sports Direct. I got some gym gear, got changed in Sports Direct.
Wow.
And then I went to the gym.
Yeah.
Totally clueless, but I knew I was doing something. I thought, right, fuck it, I'll go on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And that was where it started. And since that day, I've never looked back.
Props to you for that, by the way.
That's where I am now.
Mate, full respect, mate. Hats off. And you can tell, obviously, you can tell it was an emotional, like, you went through an emotional time, mate, and, like, full respect, and more so for getting your shit out in one sock and just going doing it there and then.
Yeah.
Go straight to Sports Direct, get the gym gear on, the way you go on it.
Yeah, man.
Everyone knows, like, that first step into the gym. I mean, I don't know if you train much before that in school or whatnot, but everyone knows that first step's the most daunting.
Hardest thing's getting your gym gear on, mate. And then the next thing's the first 3 reps, mate. That's all it is.
Mate, honestly, do you know what it was? I'd sort of touched on the gym over previous years too. That probably like in my earlier days, like around like 2009 mark. I had one of my best mates at the time. He was always in the gym all the time, and me and him were joined at the hip. So I sort of got rolled into that, and then didn't knock about with each other as much anymore. So I sort of just let it pass by, and I was always just like, I need to go to the gym, and I'd go for a few weeks, and then I'd fuck it off, and then it was just very stop-starty. But then the relationship that I was in, it just become such a. It was probably one of the worst times of my life looking back now, and especially towards the end. But I was just eating all the time. I was going having takeaways 4, 5, sometimes 6 nights a week.
Do you know what I mean? The whole takeaway industry in this country. I mean, so every Saturday I take my daughter to tennis, right, and we go swimming afterwards. And then there's always a trip to Mackie D's afterwards. There's nowhere you can go to get some sort of instant, decent scran, right? And I know why, because it would be too expensive versus... I mean, I went yesterday, right? They do this £5 deal where you get a burger, 6 nuggets, a drink, and some chips for £5.
A kid's lunchbox.
A kid, like, but there's probably about 1,500, 1,600 calories in that bit of scran. And but it becomes an every Saturday because inadvertently we're going to do something else. So there's no easy access, healthy scran anywhere. I mean, I sat yesterday, I had a tin of chickpeas, tin of tuna, bit of white wine vinegar and some cucumber, and I mixed it all up. And I'm sat there eating that while he's smashing in Burger King.
I prefer it me though, you know, like genuinely. Like sometimes I do think I don't miss takeaways. Like, I genuinely haven't had a takeaway since. Well, I haven't had one since before prep anyway. Yeah. In fact, no, I had one the day after the photo shoot. So I went and got a pizza from Bella's because my mate had opened up a pizza shop.
Sponsor us one day.
I know they're gonna have to. They'd opened up a pizza shop, and I was on prep at the time, and I really had to go and try their. So I got one of them after, but then after that, I was like. But don't get me wrong, pizza was lovely, but because my body wasn't used to it,
man,
I felt like shit. And that is no reflection, by the way, on Bella's pizza. The pizza is
no, but it's just scram. I mean,
but it's the
Mackie D's hangover. I call it. Mate. If I have one of them burgers, I'm right off for 4 hours afterwards. No drama whatsoever. Go on.
After you, sir.
No, I was just going to say. So you got your gym gear. You went into the gym. You thought, let's go on that treadmill, the most horrible device in the gym. Yeah. So you jumped on there. What did you do after that? So you I remember when I did it, I got on the cross trainer because I was 26 clem, right? So I got on the cross trainer, started off at 20, built up to an hour, then I'd have competitions for myself. How quickly could I burn 1,000 calories? And stuff like that. So what was your thought process when you?
I think it was just. I think obviously I just had that doctor that sentence, and it's still today, like even now, like you know. That was my biggest motivator, and it still is very much so. It's still there whenever I sort of fall by the wayside, or so to speak. But I just knew when I was going on the treadmill, I thought, right, cardio. I knew sort of that cardio would essentially get me
to some shape.
Yeah, it'll get something.
It's an output in it.
Yeah, and so along came shin splints. And I was like, right, fuck. Now what am I going to do? So I was like, right, I can't do that no more for a little while. So now what do I need to do? And then it was the rower. And then it was so then it was like, right. And then my housemates at the time, they would start coming with me to the gym and stuff. And I, one of them was very well trained, if you like. And, he trained really well and stuff. And he got quite big. And so, like, in his past, so that he knew what he was doing in the gym. So I was like, right, I'll come with you then. And then his brother moved in as well at the same time. So there was like a trio of us, and we were always training, and it was just sort of kept accountable. So we were finishing work, right, we're going to the gym. Finishing work, let's go play football. You know what I mean? And then it was like that. And so I just sort of kept learning all the time, and going on Instagram when it was sort of early stages of like fitness influencers and all that sort of shite. And so I was just watching videos all the time, and then it become to a point where the boys who I was training with, they couldn't go, or for whatever reason, work or this and that and the rest. So I was like, right, I'll go on my own, and I was having days off where they were at work. So I was thinking, right, I'm still going to go on my own. And then it just sort of progresses, and your confidence builds, and you've got all this sort of, knowledge going in day by day, and you're watching other people in the gym, and then there's other people who I was at work with. They were like, oh, come and train with me. And then
the beauty of the gym, by the way.
Yeah, and I think it's a magical place. A lot of people don't want to go. It's a magical place because even now, just this morning, funnily enough, I met a guy in there who saw me from Mark's post. Oh, you called Ben? I was like, yeah, I am, yeah. Oh, right, yeah, I used to train with Mark, and nice to meet you, and then they get talking, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And it's meeting people and networking in those places. It's not just about going training and doing all the hard stuff. It's about networking yourself and meeting other people and learning off other people.
I think a big side of the gym for me is obviously confidence. So we've all been there where we've not quite felt ourselves, but we never walk out the gym. Like you're always feeling it, you know what I mean? Like that's why I train upper, or used to train upper all the time, because I get that pump and I'd be like, right, I feel classy. Now obviously 2 leg days a week,
Because she's got chicken legs.
Because I've got legs like needle picks. But like, I can start to see that build. But like you said, so something that Paul touches up on all the time is you are the
average of your five.
Of your five closest people. So there's no secret, and we've chatted about it before, is that as you and your priorities change, you align with new priorities. So your fitness, your health and well-being, your mental health, etc., etc. My priority now is to be the best version of me that I can be. Not just fitness, but in terms of as a person.
Yeah.
And some of my friends, who I love and adore, by the way.
You don't get it though, do they?
But sometimes they don't get it. They don't quite get it. For example, how can you find time to go to the gym every day? Well, the gym is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
How can you find time to prep your food? That's a non-negotiable. Just like drinking is for some of them.
Yeah.
Food and training is for me. So it's interesting that. But what I wanted to pull back onto was, obviously, and I don't want to upset you in any way.
No, it's all right.
But I want to talk about that struggle.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can see it takes you to a memory, etc., etc. But
it's good though.
Yeah.
I know it's good.
Yeah,
it is good.
And it's a mint motivator that. But what support did you have in place when you were at your lowest? Was there anyone to point out that helped you drag yourself back into alignment?
I think it was like that time. My niece had just been born. Well, she was. I think it was 70. Yeah, it was 2017. So my niece had been born earlier that year. Might have been 16, but either way, she was young, and like my niece, I was thinking, I don't want to not see her grow up. Do you know what I mean? So that was one motivator. And then I had like, what would my nan and granddad say right now if they knew that I was going through this? And at the time, they didn't.
I can relate with that one.
Yeah, and they didn't actually know about that my struggle at that time.
Yeah.
Until I think it was only 2 years ago I told them about it.
Right.
And they didn't have a clue, and not many people did. So in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I can't let people down. Like, and I might not have necessarily been letting people down, but it was just, what would they do? What would they say? What would they think?
What would they think?
Yeah.
It's what you leave behind, isn't it? I think it's what you leave behind.
Exactly that. And it was only one moment in time that I actually thought about really hurting myself.
Yeah.
And it was for that split second. As quick as I thought about it, that was it. It was the one and only time. I swear to God, it was the one and only time. And so then I was like, right, I can't go to that place. It's obviously a very dark place, so let's just fucking get the fuck out of here, basically. But then the support that I had around me was some of like my really close friends at the time, and one of my best friends, who I'm still ridiculously close with now, he's still my best mate. He was sort of just texting me every now and then, how are you doing, checking in, and that's the importance of checking in on your mates, right?
Yeah.
But then one of my housemates, who I said to you was training, and you'll laugh at this, and he still takes credit for this.
Right.
We've got to know a few of them, kids, don't we?
It was a tough love kind of way, and he used to message me and call me a.
Right.
Sorry for the C-bomb, but that
we'll put a beep in there, don't worry.
But he would text me that more often than not, and then it would be a case of, right, I know that he doesn't mean it, but me reading it
is your motivator.
Is my motivator, and I'm thinking, right, I'll show you one day. You watch this.
Yeah.
You watch this, and so the way it was, like, it flew off at first. Like it flew down.
It's when you hit that first plateau, isn't it, bro?
Yeah, it did. But do you know what it was, Paul? I did it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I know I did it the wrong way.
Like crash.
Because
just not steep and deficit.
I literally just went from having maybe 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day, right, to 1,000 calories. But I was tracking it. Albeit I was tracking it. I was tracking it. But it wasn't like, obviously it's not right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that now, but my knowledge back then was just a case of, right, calorie deficit, went on TDEE, worked all that out, and I was like, right, 1,000, here we go, 1,000 calories every day, and I wasn't hungry. How mad is that?
Eating the proper scrams.
I genuinely wasn't hungry, right? And then obviously seeing the weight fly down and everything like that, it was just every single time I stepped on the scales, another motivator. Oh, we've gone a size down again.
Get
on my belt.
addicted to that feeling.
Yeah, and it's just like then your confidence grows, and then people start falling away who are bad for you.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So now that they're gone and they're not providing,
the negative vibes,
distractions and negative vibes. Now that's dwindling away, and they're here, and I'm moving up, but they haven't got the energy to keep up, so they fall back, and you go further up. Do you know what I mean?
100%, mate.
And it's just that feeling of like, right, we're going, and it just
so it's interesting, right? So I think where we're going to get to in the conversation now, right, is you significantly reduce your calories by a major amount by the sounds of things, right? Yeah. So what happens to the body, right? So your body readjusts very, very quickly, and it sheds off all those all that excess kind of fat, body weight, right? There's a brand new study just come out, which was a meta-analysis of a whole bunch of studies, and it's been spouted off some big senior people, right? So Lane Norton, Memo Henselman, those are the key people that I go to for studies and stuff, right? And again, metabolic slowdown has been suggested that it's just a myth, right? Now, I went through it, you've been through it, I know loads of people who've gone through it. There's got to be something there that if and when you cut your calories too quickly and you significantly reduce your body weight, something happens. So it took me 2 years, right? So I was in this 2 year. I got down to 19 stone from 26 stone in 6 months.
Well done.
And I was training twice a day at True Gym before JD.
Yep.
I was doing a 5K cardio at lunchtime, and I was doing a 30-minute kettlebell Tabata, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And then I was doing bro splits after that for half an hour. So those 2 hours, Monday to Friday and probably on a Sunday morning, I would do deadlifts and stuff. And I'm doing that for 2 years solid. And I'm on 2,000 calories a day. And nothing changed. My body composition changed, but nothing else changed. And that's when I went to Teesside Uni and got my BMR done properly with a calorimeter.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing to measure it back against, fair play, but my BMR is still now 1,800. Right, so for somebody who's
Mine's 1,900.
I'm nearly 20. I'm nearly 20 stone though, bro. Do you know what I mean?
It's insane, mate.
So it's like it again continues to be disproved that metabolic slowdown's a thing. I'm calling bullshit on the whole industry. It's got to be a thing, and I think when you're coaching people going forward now, it's great that you've got that insight, and that's the point of my thought process of would you ever trust a fat PT, right? And I'm not like going down an angle here out like that, right? But I have just wrote a book. But the crack is, right? So you go onto the gym floor and you've got a 17-year-old kid who's just done his level 2, level 3, sips a dude, whatever it is, right? And then you've got a bit of a chunky unit who's about 23, 24. Who are you going to go with in terms of a PT? Are you going to go with Pigeon Chest, who's fresh out of uni? He's got his little bit of a fake rollie on, right? Thinks he knows the score. Hasn't really got a clue. Has never had to deal with a proper job or life commitments or getting scran on the go. Or somebody who used to be a massive unit, who's significantly reduced down and knows all the mental gymnastics that you need to go through. Yeah. Which one are you going to choose, right? Mm-hmm. And hats off to you. So how did you get over that plateau situation, and what did you do?
The plateau.
Yeah.
So like, I think looking back, I can't remember. I think I was going to Ibiza, and I was like, right, how do I look bigger? So I'm only sure, but I was saying like, how do I look bigger here? Like, you know what I mean? And obviously, you look bigger, the less fat that you're carrying, essentially, right? So the more you're cutting, and I googled it and everything, and then it actually turned out that to have that fuller look or whatever, if you're eating too less, it's more impactful than eating too much, essentially, for the goals that I wanted.
Yeah. So
I was thinking, right, okay, I'll change the scenery as well, and I'll be a bit more motivated. So I'll change my diet, I'll change my scenery, and this was where the plateau sort of started to break.
Yeah.
Because I'd been at Exercise for Less,
right?
Yeah. And I'd been there for years, and then I was like, right, we'll go to DW. Remember DW?
Yeah.
So I was there, and I just sort of got in with a total fresh mindset.
Yeah.
Of right, I'm going to Arriva. I'm not going to do anything too drastic. I know what I should be eating and all this sort of stuff. And I was trying, always learning. So it was a case of what training methods can I implement. And right now, there's so many methods that I know, for example, like the reverse pyramid that we do at the moment. But I'd never heard of any of that before. I just knew, 3 sets of 12 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But these things, even just the basics weren't right. So I needed to change, the way that I trained and the way that I approached food. Because I was going on these 1,000 calories a day, no takeaways, this and this. But it's actual fact. You need that.
Yeah. You're slowing all your body's processes down, right? So your body's like a car engine, right? Yeah, it needs petrol, but it needs oil as well, right? So all those little processes within your body need greasing to enable you to keep on losing or gaining or whatever your chosen routine is.
Mini refeed, isn't it?
I mean, to be fair, obviously, because I was only on 1,000 calories a day at that time, me having a takeaway, as much as I thought it was impactful, it probably wasn't. It was more energy going in. So I needed to just break that, and then obviously I worked hard towards that Ibiza trip, come back, and then I think it was only like 6 months later we went into lockdown. But that, I'm telling you, and I'll say this now, that time for me was magical.
Unreal.
We touched on this on the first episode, right? Genuinely, and I understand people have lost loved ones and this, that, and the other, and I get that, and really is shit.
Yeah, it's horrific.
But from our perspective, when we touched upon it was the best time.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, we made a joke about I was going for mooches at Barnard Castle and that, and
we all did
seeing our mate David
we all
Cummins.
did it. High force. We're outdoors. We're away from home.
It was lethal. I was still at work, so I still had access to the gym.
Yeah.
I was just mooching about, doing whatever I wanted. Saved a fortune because I couldn't spend any
Can't
money.
spend it.
Can't relate on fuel.
Yeah, it was insane, mate. It was genuinely. I think I was flying to Tenerife. So when Big Bojo was on the telly and he was announcing the first
on the
lockdown,
Thursday night, mate, I used to have every tab up on Jet 2 ready to execute, mate. Because you had loads of cash. I was like, let's just go.
Well, we were sound, weren't we? Triple time overtime.
So I was like, literally, I was meant to be going on holiday. So I was watching it on the telly. I was going on holiday the next day, and I'm thinking, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
So I got out in Tenerife. I was on a 20 from work, so I was off for 20 days. And no word of a lie, I was out there, and this lockdown wasn't ending after the 2 weeks. Obviously, I was there for over 14 days. And I thought, genuinely, there was a thought process in my head, and I just thought, I might just stop out here until it all
Best places to
over.
be, bro.
There was nothing in Tenerife, like no restrictions, no nothing. And I was looking at like apartments and stuff, just thinking, right, I could stop here for another month. I'm not going to go too far into that in case anyone from work's listening.
Nobody listens to our podcast anyway, it's fine, mate.
So I'll question you then on this one, because it was bringing me on to the subject about training in that time. So how was your training in that time? Did you say you still had access to a gym, yeah?
So I was doing a lot of high intensity interval training. So obviously before I started going into the more commercial gyms now, I did CrossFit.
CrossFit wanker.
Yeah, to be fair, I was obsessed with CrossFit. So the majority of mine was, I was at Middlesbrough Green at the time, and it was a young watch. We were all around about the same age, brand new in the game of it, if you like. So we were doing loads of drills, so we were getting our fitness from that, but then we would all collectively go in the gym together. So we were just doing literally just HIIT sessions.
Yeah.
There was no trying to build strength or anything like that. And my physical fitness, my cardiovascular fitness was just through the roof.
Yeah.
I was out jogging every night.
Yeah.
And it annoys me a little bit because I look back now, and obviously we have kitchens on fire stations and we have everything you need, basically. Obviously we're there for a long period of time on shift. And I look back and I think, if I had I can't train at CrossFit anymore because obviously I rep my back. I think if I loved CrossFit, but I love what I'm doing now, and I think if I'd have started doing what I'm doing now,
back then,
I'd be an absolute beast.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I've got the smallest legs you've ever seen in your life, and I've got a half decent chest. That's it. That's all I am. Just delts and chest.
Lockdown for me, that that was a very significant part of my journey.
Yeah.
Because obviously we were at the time, so I was in the office all the time. I didn't want to work from home, but I couldn't go to the gym. I was thinking, right, I'm sat down all day. I need to be doing something when I go home. So I bought a load of gym gear before, you know, like everything was kicking. We were going into lockdown. I was like, right, everyone's at that marketplace, Facebook and all that. And I just got a load of gym gear, a little shitty bench, barbell, some dumbbells. That's all I needed. And then during that time, I invested in my first ever coach.
Right.
So I was like, right.
I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah. So I didn't believe in coaches. Never believed in. Honestly, I know I'm a coach now, but I didn't. And there's going to be people out there now watching this going, "Oh, I don't believe in coaches." Yeah. But let me tell you, the power of having a coach is massively underrated. But this is when I got my first coach, and he gave me a load of EMOM, Tabata, all this carry on, like what's your gym equipment. This is what I want you to do. And
he worked the plan around it.
Yeah, he worked the plan around, and it was all bespoke to me at the time. So I was like, right, okay, I just want to get fit, drop a bit of weight, and get in shape for when the gyms reopen again.
Yeah.
That was my aim.
Be a good spot.
Yeah, and so it worked. It honestly worked. I was going home, I was doing like a CrossFit-y sort of body weight only on the morning, going to work, coming home, a few steps, go in the gym, in my spare room.
No else to do.
But this is it. And so in that time, I was learning again. New methods, EMOM, Tabata, all that lists, all this carry on. And so I think the mental strength that came from that, thinking, right, well, now I've learned discipline now. I'm tracking food. I've got a proper diet plan. I've got my staple meals. Everything's weighed out. I'd never weighed food in my life properly. Yeah. Like, I just thought, okay, I can hide that in. I like that in. We'll wait raw, we'll wait cooked, like, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? And so that was a very significant time for me. And I think from then, it's just rocketed,
to be fair, mate, you are absolutely smashing it now. So it's quite funny. Obviously, you're a coach with Autonomy Coaching, and I'm PT'd by Autonomy Coaching. So there's a little plug for you there, Mark, whilst you're in Dubai enjoying the sun.
We need sponsorship, by the way.
Yeah, just dropping that in there.
I've still got my own business as well.
Oh, yes, we've got BH
Fitness.
BH Fitness as well.
Get that in there.
But it's, so I remember inquiring with Mark 2 years before I signed up with him.
Right.
I inquired and he gave me the sales spiel and this, that and the other, and it looked great. At the time, I was trying to understand how it would work for me from a CrossFit perspective, because I have WODs. They were set out every day anyway. And it was more the nutritional side that I was interested in, because when I was doing CrossFit, I could eat what I wanted. Genuinely.
You will do,
and then it wasn't until I thought, do you know what, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it because I think at the time, Mark, he'd probably been going for a year or two. And I thought, do you know what, I'll leave it a little bit and I'll see what results he's getting. Yours was one of the ones where I'd seen you.
Were you one of the first people through the process kind of thing? Or
I don't know, it might have been one of his first...
Poster boys kind of thing.
Yeah, still am.
His first page 3. But I'd seen yours. I'd seen yours, mate, and genuinely I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go for 3 months. And then after them 3 months, I mean, obviously, it was...
So that was your motivation to join up?
Really,
right?
100%.
No way.
Cool, that.
Yeah, I'd seen you.
I think you need one of them referral links, bro. Mark, if you watch this,
Hashtag Ben 10.
So it's a bit weird. Like, I remember when we first had a bit.
I never knew that, mate.
Yeah, when we first had a bit of crack in the gym, I was like,
oh, you got your signature. Have your autograph, bro.
I'll sign your protein shake.
A bit of back.
Can you sign my pack, bro?
Right, moving on. So you wanted to ask a question, didn't you?
So I've got a few, yeah. So, obviously I did the season one, episode 1, and we didn't cover. I don't think I would have liked to have gone into body dysmorphia a little bit more, because I speak to far too many people. A great example, right? So a girl reached out to me the other day, who I'm not coaching her at the minute, and she messaged me saying, Paul, I'm struggling here. She just had a second child, and she was on Ozempic, and she came off of Ozempic in December. So now we're what, middle of Feb. I know, I've got my views on it as well, right? So she come off about a month and a half ago, right? But her panic was, my body mass, my muscle mass has deteriorated and my body fat's increased. Turns out she'd put 0.4 of a kilogram on.
Nicer problems to have.
And then, and I said, look, right, these bioimpedance machines, right, don't believe a word they say, because if you've had too much water the next day, it'll throw the process out. The only way to measure your body fat properly is a DEXA, cut you open. Obviously, you need to be dead for that, or you can get somewhere near with calipers and what have you. I said, so don't worry about those numbers. You need to start taking photos. She sent me 2 photos, right, side by sides. One of her sideways on, one of her, and honestly, she looks better now than she did in December when she come off it. That said, it's obviously playing on her mind, right? There's girls in the gym. A very good friend of mine's just left the gym I use. She got to go to another one, and she's part of our like little lifting group. I mean, we don't lift together, but we're always like relatively near each other.
Motivators.
And she's like, I went, bro, you've got a mint spa down there. She went, I daren't go into the spa in the shape I'm in now. And this girl is unreal. Charlotte, shout out, kid. But she doesn't feel that, right? So, and one of the things I noticed, and it'd be interesting to get your take on this, is once you'd gone through your journey and you'd reduced, how were you perceived off people differently?
Mm-hmm. So, where do I start? Where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with the dysmorphia first?
Yeah.
And then going into how I'm perceived? Yeah? Okay, let's do it. So, I think body dysmorphia is still there or thereabouts for me sometimes.
I think it's. I honestly think you'll never get rid of it.
No,
None of us will.
No, you won't, and especially when you do something like your photo shoot prep. So you're going, you've gone right down to the lowest percentage of body fat that I've ever been in, and you look sick.
Yeah.
Right. You look.
You boys look.
Like you look class.
Thanks.
Right. But
Thanks,
let me tell you, Paul, you don't particularly feel class.
Yeah.
Right. Although your confidence is there while you're in the shoot, you think, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
And your mind's blowing as the photographer's going, right, look at this, and you're like, is that me? Like, you know what I mean? And but then the day after, so let's just say like when I did my last one in November, Mark took us for a burger at Tango. Plugging Tango there because they are mint. But
stop talking about Tango.
What is it? A burger place?
Yeah. We had a burger and that, some halloumi, and I had some donuts, and I had a couple of blondies, and
felt like shit.
The next day, it wasn't necessarily feeling like shit, no. Because this food is something that I was used to anyway, and it wasn't too heavy like a parmo or something. But the next day, I could see straight away like water, and then it was like. I had another couple of weeks after that. It was right. We're going out for food here. We're going out for food there. Then the abs start falling back. Your stomach's going a little bit wobbly. You're full of water, and it can play fuck with your mind. Like, and it still does, right?
Yeah.
And even when this morning I put a top on that I hadn't worn in a couple of months, which like before Christmas, like a gym top. And I could just see sort of like the bottom of my stomach, like a little bit wobbly and that, and sort of took your shorts over a little bit. But then it's like, so it's little things like this, and the thing is because you set such a high standard for yourself.
Yeah.
When that standard isn't maintained, you start looking inwards and you're saying, I'm letting my standard slip.
Yeah.
It's not a case of letting your standard slip, because although you get to that particular goal that you want to get to, and you reduce that body fat significantly, and you get into the best shape of your life.
Yeah.
It isn't sustainable.
No.
I wish it was.
It's not, man.
It's not. But that is the point I'm trying to make, because people just see this before and after.
Yeah.
They don't see what's going into it. They don't see the calories, how shit your calories.
Yeah.
Your diet's not shit, but your calories are. You just gagging for a burger or whatever, and you can't have it, and it's like and it's a mental battle, and these are the battles that you have to go through, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
we're getting to where we want to be, but you can't stay there. You've got to then grow again. Yeah. So you've got to go through these battles again. You know what I mean? It's going to happen.
I'm in that at the minute. So obviously I've reversed out and I'm on 2,700, trying to bulk. And speaking to Mark, I think 2,700 might be my maintenance.
Yeah.
And it's this last 3 weeks has been an absolute mind bend for me because
you're scranning more.
Well, I'm scranning loads more. I'm eating loads more carbs and stuff. Obviously, it's all tracked. It's all the good carbs, white potato, sweet potato, etc., etc. But I'm not seeing the scale weight go up. So I'm on I'm teetering around about 77 kilos. So I was 73 for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
And I've upped my carbs, and they're not my scale weight's not going up. And in my head, I'm like, well, that needs to be going up, not rapidly, but consistently.
Yeah.
And it's not. So I feel like I'm in limbo.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm going to book a call in with Matt and go through that because it's the last 3 weeks. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm working towards a goal. I don't feel like I'm bulking right now.
But you are though.
But I am.
You are. You are, and I think it is easy to sort of get into that. You know, you've set this because, like I said, you just mentioned a moment ago. You set this standard for yourself. So when you're used to winning, when you're not technically winning in your own mind, that can set you back more than ever, and you've just got to get over that hurdle.
I think there's a bit about just finding your inner peace, right? So we've, you know, I every January I do a bit of a cut, so I'll go crazy into December with both beer and food, and then January's my it's a sober month, right? And that's when I'll drop the calories down and, you know, put a bit more cardio on. But I know for a fact that when I come out of that, I'm going to revert back to BAU, back to usual. And I think it's having that kind of zen in your head to say, this is fine. This is fine. And to your point around, you know, getting down to that 0.8%, that 8% body fat, right? I don't think it's healthy for anybody, right? No. You're not nourishing your body significantly enough. You look amazing, right? Now, if you were to do that and then go to Ibiza for the weekend, you've ticked a box. And you know, because you're going to go out there, you're going to be playing drums on your abs and all that sort of stuff. I've signed up the fact I'm never going to see an ab in my life, and I'm cool with that, right? And I think it's getting your head in that place of just, we're doing it because it's making us feel better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key bit there. And you're never going to go back to that nego part in your mind again, right? Because you're continually improving yourself. And I think that's what we need. I think that's what everybody needs to get their heads around. It's easier said than done, right?
Yeah. But I think when you get to, like, and funny enough, I've just done a post on this morning about consistency.
Yeah.
And I think you can have a goal in place, and if you aren't seeing the results, or you've maybe say lost results that you're getting or whatever, the aim of the game is consistency, right? So there's no end.
There's no end game.
There's no end. There's no end to this, right? And for anybody listening out there now who thinks, right, I just need to get to this point. Once I've got to that point,
you ain't going to be happy.
And I'll do all this.
You ain't going to be happy.
Let me just tell you, right, when you relax, you're going to feel like a bag of dicks, right? Right?
Don't want to feel like a bag of dicks.
No,
but it's never ending, and it's a case of, right, I've got to this goal, I relax, and then when you relax and you get back onto it again, and then you get to another goal, and then you relax, and then you get back to it again.
Yeah.
Without you even realising what you're doing, it's consistency.
Yeah.
You're consistently showing up, you're consistently training, you're consistently eating, you're consistently getting results, right? And too many people out there at the moment, especially coming to me, that are speaking to me or inquiring about my services and going, oh, I want to get here. Right, okay, sound. And then we start coaching, and then it's 4 weeks in, I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere.
Mate, I'm coaching one of the girls I'm coaching at the minute, right? She's like, I need to get down to 14 stone. And I'm like, why 14 stone? Because I know I'm going to look mint then. I went, you're never, ever going to look mint.
Not in your own head.
You're never, ever going to look mint. And it's like, I think we need to focus on the consistent approach to training, showing up, doing your reps, and I think we need to aim for that to be our done.
So
and you know, don't get me wrong. If you do go to Ibiza and you can do it, and you go, right, I'm gonna jump on 1,800 calories. I'm gonna get Shreddy Krueger. So when I'm in Old Beach, I'm playing the drums on my abs, right, and the girls are gonna love it. Sound. that can be a goal and that can be a focus. Or equally, if you want to go, right, I want to get body massive, I want them shoulders popping, let's go do that, right? And you can have those micro goals, but I think you just need to get as comfortable as you are with, right, I'm showing up, I'm doing the reps, and I'm happy with that, right?
I think when people start, and this is a good point, this is something I
it's easier said than done, right? Jeez.
You're doing it, I think you need to remember you're doing this to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
So you're not doing it to, I mean, you are doing it in a sense to look better, but you're doing it to be healthier.
Yeah.
You're doing it to be fitter.
Learn new habits.
Yeah, learn new habits, and they transfer into real life.
Yeah.
And I've touched upon this with you before, joining the fire service, the instill discipline, instill that, what we call the Nolan principles, so like objectivity, trust, etc., etc. And I think you develop things like that from the gym. You go, you stay consistent, you understand your priorities at that point. You need to eat well, this, that, and the other, and then that'll have a knock-on effect on you professionally, personally, and I think once we stop thinking it's just about having abs, it's about being a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done.
So talk to me about the how you,
people perceive.
Yeah, I think this is amazing, right? So
you're
this is
busting
cool,
for this
isn't
one,
it?
aren't you? Because I'm all for this, and I think
it's a taboo subject, I think, right?
Yes.
Because it should. I don't think it should be like this. But go on.
So I think the way that people would because we've discussed it before, and where you show up, you know, I was the fat jovial lad, and it was just like, oh yeah, he's funny, you know, he's fat, he's funny, and all this sort of carry on, and people don't have that. It's not like a level of respect or anything like that for you, and you can't, you know, you sort of the butt of the joke, if you like, and I was the butt of the joke for many people, even people close to me, right?
Right.
But then when you start to change, and your appearance changes, and instead of you thinking that people are laughing at you, it goes from people laughing at you to people staring at you.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, right, they're staring at me. Like, yeah, I fucking look good.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
even to a point where like people smile at you. So I can remember like you'd walk into a room and you either wouldn't get noticed or they'd be like, "Who's that fat fucker over there?"
Yeah.
And the reception you get when you walk into a room is totally different now. You get people smile at you, "Oh, hello."
Yeah.
And I think it's like I think it probably plays worse on a bigger person's mind to have that reception when they walk into an environment versus, you know, I can walk. I mean, obviously I'm relatively confident, so I can walk into any room and just and I could when I was 26 stone. I was cool with that, right? But the reception you get off people, the looks and stuff like that. Not even off women, women, not off men. And they look to you and go, "Oh, is he a bit of an alpha now?" Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Do you know where I noticed it most? And this is not me. I'm not blowing my own trumpet or being arrogant here. By the way, I'm just explaining the situation.
Yeah.
So when I was in the gym, when I first started training, it's a perfect example, really. I know people were laughing at me. I know lads were laughing at me, right? Or like pointing and all that thing. I mean, but now, there's a couple of times where I've been training and I've been absolutely sending it on, particularly leg day. Shock.
Yeah, and you do send it.
And
sick,
and someone, you know, I've had it a couple of times where lads have blokes have come over in better shape than me.
Yeah.
And going, mate, how'd you get your calves like that? Or how much weight are you pushing there? And I'm like,
just leg day, bro.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just leg day. But then it's like you sort of, because I was in that mindset for such a long time, and I still do. Essentially, it ties back into that dysmorphia carry on. Right?
Yeah.
But you perceive differently.
Yeah.
You looked at differently, like he's in shape, and it's like a respectable thing.
But you're still that same person. That's what I find strange.
It's mad, isn't it?
So you've still got that voice in your head that, like, someone might, say, for example, Craig and Sean, two of the nicest blokes you've ever met in your life. And I am by no means a PT or anything like that, but I've been through my own little journey. Yeah. And I was having a bit of crap with them before Christmas, and they'd seen me in the gym a couple of times. I'd seen them in there, and they were training at like 4:30, and genuinely thought, with that like mentality, they'd ask me for a bit of help in terms of nutrition, a training plan, etc., etc. And in all honesty, mate, if I didn't think they'd be dedicated to it. I'd have been like, fobbed them off.
Yeah.
But I thought, the nicest blokes ever, and they are.
They are good lads.
Really nice. And I thought, right, I'm going to give them a bit of a hand here. And in my head, I'm thinking, why are they asking me? What? Little skinny Jamie, why are they asking me? And then I thought, oh yeah, I'm actually in shape.
You're not skinny
now.
Jamie,
Do you
no.
know what I mean?
You're not skinny yet.
So you're still that same person in your head. You just perceive
I
different.
tell you, that's almost like imposter syndrome.
Well, I was going to come on to that. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you've obviously amazing transformation, and you've gone from kind of banging the palmo drum to banging the barbell, right? So, what's the how do you feel, right? So, I sometimes feel, who am I to be able to dispense this information? Who am I to be able to do that? So, imposter syndrome, go.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like it happens.
Yeah.
It happened to me a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I actually spoke with Mark and that about this, but because I've now got more clients coming into me.
Yeah.
And you sort of feel like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know what I'm saying is right, but how the fuck did I get here? Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like you sort of, I don't know. It comes and goes, and it's not every day.
Yeah.
It's not every day. It's not every week or every month. I would say it's probably like tri-monthly.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
12 weeks or so.
Yeah,
I might just get like a
wobble.
little bit of a blip, a little bit of a wobble. I'm sat in my own head and I'm thinking, how have I got here? You know, and even in my day job, you know, when I'm working away offshore and stuff like that, I wanted to do something like my PT.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I wanted to do something like my offshore stuff, and I've got to that point, and I'm progressing all the time.
Yeah.
Progressing all the time, and then sometimes you just have this moment out of nowhere. It gets you, and you go, "How did I even get here?"
I think it's important for you to hear, by the way, you've got here through hard work.
Yeah.
You haven't just
Thank you,
stumbled here.
Yeah.
You've got here
You've
through
grafted, man.
Yeah.
So it's
Thank you.
important for you to
And
hear.
I
like,
appreciate that.
if like, the analogy I kind of use, because I've met every normal person should have these wobbles because it needs to keep them accountable, right? So what I do is, the way I think of it is, and I'll use a corporate analogy because we've done fitness a fair bit, right? Is when I'm making a decision on a major project, I'll approach it like understand the fact base, right? So you need to understand what the crack is, any kind of information you need, any statistics and stuff like that. And then what I'll kind of tend to do is I'll go, right, when have you done something like this before? And what was the outcome? Was it a positive outcome or was it a negative outcome? And fortunately, the majority are positives. There have been negatives, right? So you're like, right, is this anything like that negative outcome? And are you going to make a decision towards anything that could result in that negative outcome? No, you're not. Okay. So how many times have you done this before? I've done this shit loads of times before. So these are all your chits, your positive chits, right?
Yeah.
Your ticks, right? And it's building up that stack of evidence to say that you can do it and you should be doing it.
Yeah.
And you should be the person that's making that decision because you've done it before.
Yeah.
And you know, because you've learnt by that time that it went a bit peaked on, that you know that you don't need to be doing it that way, right? Because it had a negative outcome. So it's just about having that mentally in your head about all those positive times that you have made a contribution or an impact. And I think that's probably the only way that you can give yourself that little bit of confidence to say, fuck it, yeah, I am the dude, right? I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's summarised beautifully, Paul.
Oh, that's what I do.
No.
Just all love and hugs today. I love
No,
it.
it's a Sunday, man. It's the Sunday love. But no, like it's that is summarised like bang on. And I think there's, you know, what you've got to remember is, or at least this is what I say to myself: if people are coming to me, they come to me for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? They're coming to me for a reason because one, I'm a coach. Which, by the way, how the fuck did I become a coach?
Hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work. Because you've got the chits, bro. You've got the chits.
It is now it's my passion. I live it, I breathe it, you know. And actually, I didn't actually know I was going to be a coach. I didn't even know that I wanted to be a coach until one conversation with my best mate Kyle, if he ever watches this, by the way. Big shout out to him for this, because there was just one right, and he went, "Do you know what I think you should be? I think you should be a PT." Right? Why'd you say that? He's like, because you just, you've got the gift of the gab and the patter and all this, and you're good with people, and you like helping people. Now you're banging at your fitness, and I just think you should be a PT.
Got drive.
And that's where it came from, man. Right? So I was like, right, okay. There and then started my fitness page, and did my first post half an hour later, right? And then I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, and sometimes I still think I don't know. Only when it comes to content creation, that's usually when it creeps in. But
your content's banging, pal. It's really, really good.
Thank you.
It is good.
I don't give myself enough credit for it.
It is banging, mate. It is banging. I mean, I hate doing it, and I'm doing it a lot at the minute, and I'm conscious that people are thinking, "Fucking shut up."
But that's it.
And I've done 3 posts in a day, and I've messaged them. I'm fucking sick of this social media shit already. But it's a I don't know what's the phrase I'm looking for. It's a required part of the job,
it's
right?
A tool as
but
well.
yours was banging, mate. So I wouldn't worry about that, mate.
But this is where it happens for me. Like where you think, I don't know what I'm doing. So then, do I know what I'm doing? But then you think, right, well, yeah, I do know what I'm doing. It's
and then,
just it's a constant
and then you get in
battle.
the headspace of like, how many likes have I got? And like, just don't look for the likes. Don't read the comments. No. Just do it. Post it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Some of that frustrates me massively. And I don't know if you like myself, but obviously busy as out when I was younger. 4,000 friends on Facebook, and that's something that gets in my head sometimes. I think I've posted this here.
And I've only got 20 likes.
I've got 20 likes. Like, I'm trying to do something to raise awareness and help people, and people give you 20 likes, and it does for like 5 minutes get in my head, and then for the next 5 minutes I'm like, well, it says a lot about
do you know one thing I haven't asked yet, and I'm not going to, and I don't want to know, right, is how many times has the first episode been listened to? And I don't want to know.
Do you know what, right? So you'd be very surprised.
I don't want to know.
I'm going to send you some analytics.
And I'll tell you for why. Because we're not doing it for that. We're doing 100%. It to get the message out and getting people like this message out.
Genuinely, if one person, so we've got listeners in Egypt and Tunisia.
We've paid for them, but
studio dealers and clothes.
So some Tunisian or some.
Where I get me clothes from, bro.
some male or female or kid who's listened from Tunisia or Egypt might have had a better day as a result of what.
Mate, he might have gone for a little run. He might have gone to Sports Direct in Egypt, whatever it's called. Bought some PE
some deco, mate. Yeah. Some deco gear it was.
And jumped in the Nile and gone for a swim, bro. You know what I mean?
Mooching about in high-vis Sundeco. But it might have... That's what it's all about, mate.
Yeah,
it is all about. And it's like, I appreciate you coming on today and speaking about your journey and your struggles and stuff, because people will resonate with that.
Yeah.
Like,
man.
100%. And yourself, Paul, your transformation and like, in a sense, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but returning back from a really bad back injury, do you know what I mean?
It's commendable, man. Like, it's
you
inspirational.
And I said, Paul, so I don't know if I mentioned it on the first episode, but I was buckled with my back to a point where like my mum had come round, she put me on the sofa, diazepam down my throat, and that was me laid there for months, mate. And the only visitor I had apart from my mum was Paul.
Oh yeah,
genuinely. He rang me. I'm coming round now.
And we were pals, but we weren't like.
But we weren't like super close. And that, like, for me, when this was a concept, when this was an idea, Paul was the first person I reached out to, because I wanted him on. And then when we'd done the first episode and I was just like, oh, I kind of want to share this with you. I want to do it with you, like,
and that's why I'm pressing the buttons, man.
You're the button man.
I'm the button man. I think I'm doing all right.
He's my brother.
But we have a stream. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is
it's good crack. It's good therapy, man.
Yeah.
It's good therapy.
That's essentially what it is, man. Like, I think when you have conversations like this and you meet, you're gonna end up having other guests and everybody will be different and you're gonna pick up so much along the way, and it's like, you can take golden nuggets from each conversation. Yeah.
Big fan.
And those golden nuggets essentially are only going to make you a better person individually for both of you. It's like,
it gives you more sweet in your arsenal. Like I was saying, that Jay was asking on my cast around what do I learn from people, and I'm like, what I do is I take the items that are aligned with my values. So I think I use an analogy around, like, a businessman, for example, who's got a multi-million-pound portfolio. What cool things can I take from that person? But then I look at his personal life and go, doesn't get on with his kids, or he's having an affair. I'm like, those are the negative traits that obviously I won't pick up on. But I'll take all the positive stuff. And then you look at the guy who's absolutely bossing it as a family man. And, he might be doing a 20 hours a week in just delivering something or something like that, but he's there consistently for his kids. Because, my big passion's my family, right? So I'm like, what can I learn off that dude? What does he do with his kids that I don't do, that I could perhaps do better? And I think it's taking those, what's aligned to your values in terms of the good gems off that person. And we're going to do that, right? And it's going to be great, man.
I think that's the thing I'm probably most excited about, is sitting here with people like yourself and learning.
Yeah.
So this isn't about coming on here and preaching to people that
fitness is good, man.
This is good, and they should
work out of the day, bro. Fucking all do CrossFit. No.
They should be living the best, healthiest life. That's not what it's all about. And if someone's sat listening to this while they're absolutely caning a palm in,
fair play.
Fair play. Yeah, like if it makes you happy, it makes
I
you
had
happy.
a takeaway last night. It wasn't a palm.
You see what I find though as well, right? And I don't know if you can relate to this, but so when you do something like this, right, and you'll share it, and there'll be people out there.
Haters, man.
No, right. They're going to see this, right, and they're going to listen to it.
Yeah.
You won't know who it is.
No.
You won't know who it is. They want to like the post. They want to share it. They want to do nothing. They'll just simply listen to it, right?
Yeah.
And if you're out there now listening to this, this is what's going to happen. They're going to listen to this cast, and there's going to be somebody somewhere is going to be motivated by it
to do something.
And if your cast is motivating one person,
then that's it. Job done.
You know, one conversation is, or just a subject that we're talking about.
Yeah.
If it's motivating one person, then your job's done.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because then it's infectious, because it's not only are you inspiring people by having your cast and everything and you're doing the right thing, it's that person, whoever that may be, this stranger, is going to listen to it and go, oh, by the way, to one of their mates, listen to this. And it's a chain reaction, man.
It's the word of mouth. It's like when you look at it, again, go back to corporate, if you're going into like a sales environment or anything, it's word of mouth's much more impressive than all the cold calls that you can do. You know, you telling somebody in the pub or in the gym, have you tried this new pre-workout? Or that's a nice pint there. Or the food here is banging. That's going to get more sales than you phoning 50 people
100%,
up, 50 cold calls up. But so what else was I thinking of? So I tell you what I've got a bit of a beef with at the minute, right? Is
tell me, Paul, tell me.
Air fryers, right? Which has
Oh.
led me to this question, right? Is so the people at your coaching, what sort of age range have you got? Are they kind of midlife or
No,
are
actually,
they
youth? I've got someone who's in their mid-40s.
Okay.
Possibly older. I don't think. Yeah, mid-40s. I'm just going to say mid-40s.
We'll say
I'm
40.
sorry if you
Kids are only 31,
I'm sorry
it
if
just
you're not
looks
bored. Yeah,
really
Delivered
old.
the Heldon Post on a Sunday.
I've got
Ben Nevis.
mid-40s and like down to early 20s.
Okay. So what's missing, do you think, in people's, I'm going to call it skill set. And when I say skill set, I mean, what do they not know about fitness or nutrition or, and I'm not thinking about the curriculum needs changing at school level, although my daughter's going through her options at the minute and absolutely does. But what are people not getting furnished with in terms of knowledge around training or fitness?
Ooh, that's a good question, actually.
I was just say, what's the most prominent thing that people don't know that look to you for your advice?
Because the reason I say that is I don't believe people know how to cook, right?
Yeah.
I don't, and that's why everybody's got an air fryer.
Yeah.
I honestly think that people don't know to approach a meal by sautéing the hardest vegetable first, then adding the meat, and then adding the, I don't know if it's going to be like a petit flou. What are those peas? Sugar snack peas? Our lass loves them.
Yeah, sugar
Putting them in last because that's the last thing that takes to cook, right? So you start with your onions or your garlic at the beginning. I don't think people know this shit, and that's why everybody's banging stuff in their air fryer.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a case of they don't know how to cook. I think it's a case of that they don't know what to eat.
Right.
So in terms of, like, and more often than not, I'd say 90% of people I speak to that are either doing food prep and stuff like that, they often say, I can't eat my protein. And it's like, right, okay, that's fine. Let's have a little assessment. So I get the screenshot to the MyFitnessPal and we have a little look over, right? And then it's like, well, I'm eating my carbs. I'm going well over my carbs. But I'm struggling with my protein.
I'm the opposite.
And it's going, but that's us.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But what I'm saying is these, for somebody who's a little bit wet behind the ears, who's just sort of new to it, you're gonna have to learn it somehow, right? So then you have a little look at it, and 9 times out of 10, Jamie, they're having the Aldi protein pots, for example,
right?
Knacker deep in carbs and sugar, right? So although they're hitting the protein target-ish, they're getting a protein hit. They're not realising the damage that's coming, or the calories that are coming from the carbs, right? So it's the nutritional education I think people are struggling with. And I think I actually only done a webinar on this the other day about protein. And there are so many foods out there, right? Even raspberries, they've got protein in them, right? Yeah. Broccoli's got protein in them. So for me, protein is not a problem for me. That's because I know and I've learned, about it. But more often than not, the biggest struggle that people have is food prepping and knowing what to have and when. That's I think, and I think that could actually be taught at a very early stage in life, especially like food technology.
I mean, my daughter made she's not my eldest daughter Amelia, right? She isn't like life's best chef, right? Do you know what they made at school the other week in home economics or whatever it's called nowadays? A fucking parmo.
I knew you were going to say
They made
that.
a fucking parmo.
I had a funny
and I'm just like,
do they go into the nutrients or
no,
the proteins, the carbs, the effects that has?
They give them a shitty chicken scallop. They taught them how to make besh, I think, and then they grate some cheese over the top. And I'm like, what sort of lesson is that in a school environment to be teaching kids about nutrition? Fucking parmesan. And yes, it's a fantastic Teesside delicacy. I get it. And do you know what? I have the occasional one. I didn't have one last night. I nearly did. But it's a school. Why?
Shouldn't be in there.
Why
shouldn't be in there. Honestly, there's a reason why the North East has some of the highest levels of obesity in the country.
To the Barmo,
and it's
sure.
tied to the Barmo for a starter. Something I find quite funny, Ben, is when I post stuff, so I do my meal prep on a Sunday for the whole week for 7 days. People message me and they say, "So, do you just keep that all in the fridge?" How would you? And no, and it's genuinely the question blew my mind when I got asked, and I got asked it maybe 5-6 people asked me. I was like, no, I just leave 2 meals in the fridge, the rest go in the freezer, and when I take 1 meal out, another meal goes out the freezer into the fridge.
Top London Plains kids.
And it's but people don't know this, and that's what frightens me a little bit.
Yeah, well, see, when I food prep, and funny enough, I'm food prepping this afternoon.
Everybody's everyone. We all are, bro.
And no, but I do, and I do my prep. So Sunday, and it'll be for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And then on a Thursday morning, I know I'm running out of meals.
Yeah.
So on a Thursday morning, I'll prep again. And it'll just sort of be a cycle. It's not every Sunday I prep. It's just every four days.
Cycle.
Because that food, and sometimes, if I've gone out for a meal, for example, I know that my food's in the fridge. Although you put yours in the freezer, right? But chicken and stuff like this, it can last up to 5 days.
Right.
Anybody out there tells me?
No, I got to wait. This is not advice, right? This is in case a salmonella outbreak in Teesside.
This is not saying that you have to, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
Right?
My min stays in the fridge for 5
right?
days. Chicken stays. Rice I'm a bit funny with.
I cook my meats. I leave it in the fridge, and if I go out for a Nando's or something, for example, then I know that I can replace that chicken and rice and broccoli meal.
Yeah.
I know that, right, okay, I won't have that one today. I'll have my Nando's tonight, which will be essentially the same meal, but you're eating out, right?
Chicken and rice and disguise.
Yeah, but that meal that I've skipped for today, I'm going to have that tomorrow. Then I know I've got a meal there tomorrow, just in case anything goes wrong, right? But, like, that food will last in there, and that's 3 meals I make. I make 3 of the same meals, right? And this is important. This is the biggest thing. If you can find 3 staple meals
that you like,
that you know right in my head, right? I know what I like. I'm gonna have them 3, and you don't have to have exactly the same every day, right? So your chicken, rice, and broccoli, for example, mine varies. So I might change the rice for pilau rice, and I might have like an Indian seasoning.
Yeah.
Or I'll have a barbecue seasoning, and I'll have jasmine rice.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm changing the flavors all the time.
Yeah.
And then, depending on whether I'm on a cut or a bulk, I'll go from 2 medallions to 3 medallions or 4 medallions, right? Or I might have 2 eggs and a load of egg whites, and it's just
being clever with the macros,
and it's variable, but you're keeping the food the same. Although it sounds same.
Your food shop's the same, isn't it?
You go from salmon to cod sometimes.
Yeah.
Or you go from potato to sweet potato or whatever, and so on. You get the drift. But that thing of having your 3 staple meals is not talked about enough.
So we're super lucky as a family, right? So I do all my prep on a Monday actually, but I eat the same things every day. So I eat my 6 eggs, I shake in the morning, 6 eggs at about 10, 250 grams of mince at 12, your Aldi protein pot on the afternoon with oats and berries, but that's pre-carb before I go to the gym. And then we have the same meals on a night, and we all sit down. So Monday night's chicken fajitas. However, I don't even know how to say fajitas. Chicken fajitas.
I prefer that
one. Barbecue chicken with rice on a Tuesday, and then a couple of crock pot dishes, slow cooker dishes, and everybody eats the same thing, and it's essentially chicken and rice, just with different flavours in it. And that's what we were saying last time. You're not sick of mince. You're sick of the flavour that you've banged in it, so just change it.
You know what the important thing is there, though, that you've just discussed, is the fact that you've got that support behind you. So, where you're all eating the
family,
same. Yeah, because I've got clients that have got, they might have a partner, for example, who doesn't need to go to the gym, for example, right? And she doesn't want to.
She just needs to eat something separate.
She doesn't want to eat what he's eating, for example, right? And so
he should, though, if he wants to support her.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a case of it's her supporting him.
All right,
right. But it's a case of you need to get like a support group behind you, and I think once you get that support circle behind you, you know what I mean. Like that goes a long way.
You bang on, and like everybody's got an Annabelle. So Annabelle's my youngest daughter, right? How on earth she's got to the size that she's got off eating, right? Get this, plain pasta all her life,
right?
Or plain rice all her life. She'll occasionally chicken nuggets, and every family's going to have them. And all we do is we'll swap. She'll have a sausage, right? So if we're having one thing, shot the sausages in. She'll still have the rice, so she'll have rice, broccoli, and sausage instead of some sort of peculiar North Korean chicken dish that's too spicy for her. But everybody's got it. But it's being able to adapt for them. But I think from a partner perspective, I mean, Sarah used to do Slim and World Weight Watchers, and I'm not a big fan of those. I'm not a big fan of those concepts, right? But when she went, I know the banana thing, man, fucking hell, mashing a banana.
It's different calories.
You can have 200,000 chips, but you can't have a fucking mashed up banana, bro. Anyway, I mean, I'm not good at. We could have to do a full podcast slagging these off. But I did what she was doing, right? And you've got to do that to support your partner, is my view.
Of course you do.
Because life's about getting through, right? It's about it's hard enough juggling through and trying to navigate through life as it is without having to make another meal for somebody else.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
Sure. I think so last year, I was with somebody and I was on photo shoot prep.
Yeah.
And there was some times where I'd be asked, "Oh, can we go out here?" I can't.
You need to make the effort, though, bro.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, though. I know it's hard.
It's like, right, I can't. I really can't. But on this one occasion, like, if we go here, can we just go here? At least we're going out.
Yeah.
And we're still eating out. I'll still pay. Don't worry. right, I'll still pay. We can go here.
Sure, that's it.
It's going to be another beep.
Yeah.
If we can go here, then I can come out. But can we sort of meet halfway on this? Do you know what I mean? And then it was like, all right, yeah, fine.
Were you with her before you went on this prep thing, or were you seeing or speaking to her whilst you were like in that little?
Yeah, so I just met her. Funnily enough, just before I'd started with Mark.
Yeah.
In the first year I was with Mark, I think we got like a few months in, and Mark was like, mate, you're going to go on a photo shoot. I was like, oh, right, yes, yeah, but then I think we had like a bit of a break, and we got back together just before I did the photo shoot. And so when we got back together, it's sort of like fresh again. You know, you're starting over again. It's very exciting again.
Because she's got to at that time understand your priorities.
Yeah, and she did.
And
she did fair play to it, but she had a baby as well.
Right.
And so we were trying to make it to accommodate for that. But me being me, I ended up getting the baby like on salmon, rice, and broccoli.
Yes!
Yeah, buddy!
Like, get that down, yeah.
Swapping the aftermath for a bit of protein, bit of wage, you know. Yeah,
Take my
buddy.
SMA away. Put the watches in the bin, we're getting salmon, rice, and broccoli.
That's, mate,
It happens.
do you know what? If you can teach them young, a good pal of mine, he used to make his kids eat the veg, all the veg before they had the meat. And now they don't have an issue with eating veg. I mean, the one's in the army now, and the other one's the set and the other. But instilling food tactics in kids, I think, is super important. But yeah.
Can I just
Do you want to?
on a serious note, we could go on forever.
We have.
And we could, and we have. That being said, I'm very conscious of the fact that we have got visuals, and I don't know. There we go. We're just starting to lose visuals, I think.
Yeah.
So what I do want to say is, first of all, thank you very much, Ben. Genuinely. If there's anyone out there who's got some questions for Ben, fire them in. I'll fire them over to Ben. If anyone's interested in Ben as a coach, which you should be, because he is awesome. And yeah, you got Ben Hudson Fitness or economy coach. Yeah, so we've got that. Thank you very much to you, Paul.
Brother,
just
absolute pleasure.
for being you.
Mate, it's what I do, mate. It's what I do.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you for the grenade bars as well, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not counting them in my fitness pal, so don't be telling
Sorry,
Mark.
Mark.
No, honestly, it's been a pleasure. Out from you, Paul.
No, thank you very much. Been there, and let's just keep doing what we're doing, bro.
Easy like a Sunday morning, boys.
Sunday morning. Can you give a shout out to Angel for us?
Well, right. So, Stoked Academy, Angel Ann, top girl. She's bought us a whole bunch of new kit here. This thing that I've been pressing the buttons on cost a good £200. She's got that disco machine there. I'm not quite sure what it does. Hopefully, it's recorded the audio from today. And then she's just a true legend. So. Yesterday, she was conscious because the last podcast we did, there was somebody doing deadlifts upstairs. So we were in, we're in a gym essentially, right? And she yesterday took all these roof panels out that you won't be able to see, and has put a load of really disgusting foam in, and she did all that on her own yesterday. In prep for us today. Yeah. So she's a legend. Stoked Academy. And obviously we'll pin the link and all that kind of good stuff to the.
That being said, obviously this is a fitness podcast, but there's also a very serious message in terms of mental health, not just in men, but in women. And if you are younger, if you're just coming into your adult life, you as well, if you would like to, if you ever get to a point where you think things are getting a little bit too hard, reach out. And I said it on the first episode, genuinely will respond to any email, message or whatnot if someone needs a little bit of help. So just give us a shout. Thank you very much, gents.
Well done, bro.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Ding, 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 in comes the jingle.
Yeah, use the jingle. Ding, 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 ding.